Go back, y'alls, to the Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that count. Richard Burns live again. I was experiencing operational diff. Stay away from that, y'all. Yeah, I was telling the professor I'll be in Seattle by either Thursday or Friday. So, but I typed it in, but unfortunately, she left before she read that, or somehow, I damn. Let's go. Testing, testing. All right, here we go. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Testing, testing. All right, here we go. See, now we're cooking with gasoline, y'all. With gasoline. All right. So what is my difficulty here now? Where you at? I got three people. So let me. Hey, positive. I'm so glad you're here. So you can come on up if you want to. I don't think I did. So let me throw up the invitation. Throw up the invitation right here. Let's do this. Go here. Send that. Send that thing right there. There it is. So positive. You can come up. Come on up if you want to. If you want to. Moan up. I'm glad you showed up. Positive. I'm glad you did. If you're still here, put a one. or put an emoji of any kind that you want. Make sure you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know, please. So then check this out, okay? Hope you're there, positive. I really do hope you're there. Because this is something, I know you like putting out positive, oh, excellent. Positive affirmations. Positive affirmation. Yes. Years ago, I don't remember what year it was, but I read The Secret. It was a big deal at the time. Oprah Winfrey put it up as one of her suggested reading. So, can you hear me okay, by the way? Positive? In any event, hopefully you can hear me. And here's the deal. Okay, excellent. Can you hear me well enough? Or does it need help? Does my microphone need a boost of some kind? Do I need to speak louder? But I'll continue anyway. So it was a recommended book to read as part of Oprah Winfrey's list of books. And The Secret talks about manifestation. And in order to manifest, you should have a list of things that you should be doing. One of them is having positive affirmations. Did I get it from that? Might have been from a different book, but in any event, sticking to positive affirmations. Okay? Positive affirmations are good, but it's only one side of the story. And okay, no, because I would be including it with manifesting, which is which is different. Manifestation is different from positive affirmation. Positive affirmations are great because it puts you in a mindset where you bring down barriers. And I think I used this example one time with the trucking, which is what I do right now. And when you have a positive mindset, you're willing to do extra and potentially achieve more than what you would if you didn't have that positive mindset. And I'll give you an example with the trucking. Matter of fact, it happened just what? It happened yesterday. Yesterday. Anybody who's ever delivered a load to Walmart knows the consequences of arriving late to deliver to Walmart. They already know. The way it works is this: when you get to Walmart, you have you have the first group that you approach, which is the guard shack. The guard shack takes your paperwork, goes in the computer, assigns you a door, gives you instructions as to whether you should open your doors and back up or not, chucking your wheels, disconnecting from your truck. Maybe in some rare occasions you don't have to disconnect. The bottom line is you get your instructions from the guard when you first arrive. Now, in many other warehouses, when they assign you a door, that's it. It's a done deal. But not in Walmart. It's not a done deal. Let's say you've got a 3 o'clock appointment. You arrive at 2:45. You're at the guard shack, getting all the paperwork done. They assign you a door. You go to the door, do everything you're supposed to do. Then you take the paperwork over into the office where they got to complete the process. Okay, your appointment's for 3. You arrive at 2:45. Go to the door. Everything you got to do. Go to the office. Turn in your paperwork. It's 1 minute after 3, and they say you're late. Why? Because at Walmart, it's not the time you arrive at the guard check and get a door assigned. It's the time you arrive inside the office. So in that particular case, if you know that, you won't go to the door right away. You go to the office first, then go to the door. That way, you're not even 1 minute late, because once you're 1 minute late, they tell you that you have to pay a fee to get a new appointment, and they're going to give you an appointment for the next day. So you're losing money because you're losing a day. You're losing money because you're paying a fee, a late fee, and that's how they operate. Okay, so positive mindset. I pick up a load and I have to deliver to Walmart. Delivery time is 4 a.m. I'm looking at, I got a situation with my hours of service. I can only drive with so many hours in that day, and it's nowhere near the amount of hours I need to get to Walmart. Had I had the hours, had I had the hours, I would have made it to Walmart like maybe 4 or 5 hours ahead of my appointment time. By the way, if you arrive earlier than 2 hours, you're considered late. So you got a 2 hour window. Your appointed time by which you have to be at that window in the office, or 2 hours prior to your appointed time, but not any earlier than that. Okay? That's how they get down. Strict like that. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, I had to stop. I only had a certain amount of hours to drive for that day, nowhere near the amount of hours that I needed. I was going to pick up more hours after midnight. But once you do the math, if I drove after midnight, after I got more hours, I would have arrived at the Walmart. What did I say? The appointment was for 4. I would have arrived at 3:45, right? 3:45. Now, if the guard keeps me there for more than 7 minutes, 7, 8 minutes, I might have a problem. However, remember, you got to keep a positive mindset. If you don't have a positive mindset, I could tell you what would have happened. I would have given up. If I didn't have a positive mindset, I would have given up. Here's what happened. I already told you what the procedure was. So in your mind, if you don't have a positive mindset, you would just accept defeat without even actually trying. Positive mindset. Here we go. Ah! So I take off, and my ETA, which is calculated, which I can see on my GPS, right? 3 letter soup right here. So my estimated time of arrival, according to my GPS, is 3:45 a.m., 15 minutes prior to my appointment. However, the GPS is calculating the ETA, assuming, well, it's a machine, it's not a soup, but it's calculating at the maximum speed limit that you can travel on that road. So most of the road that I'll be traveling is at 70 miles per hour. However, my engine is governed at 65. So what my GPS is telling me doesn't work for me because I can't do 70 miles an hour. Therefore, I'm not going to make it by 3:45. If I don't stop, I'll be arriving at like 4:15, right? So I throw my hands up in defeat. That's not what I did. I kept a positive mindset. I kept going. I'm watching my GPS change my ETA from 3:45 and a minute later, and so on and so forth. But to drive 5 hours straight without pulling over and stretching your legs, that's that's damaging. That's damaging to your back. I pulled over anyway. I pulled over, got breakfast, got something to drink. I pulled over twice, as a matter of fact. Positive mindset. Now my ETA is saying 5:30. 5:30. That's what my ETA is saying. 5:30. Okay. Okay. 5:30. Okay. Positive mindset. Let's go. I'm not accepting defeat. I'm not taking on a negative outlook. Let's go. I arrive 3 hours later. Before I arrived, let me tell you, my GPS sent me to the wrong entrance to the facility. It sent me to the entrance to where the car is going, where the employees go. And so that added more time because I have to figure out a way to get out of that and start heading toward the truck entrance. So I give the paperwork to the guard, and the guard looks at the time I'm supposed to arrive. It says it on the paper. And he's got this look on his face. Basically, that look said to me, you're probably not going to get unloaded today. So he said, oh, wow, you're late. I said, yeah, terrible. Okay, well, I'm going to give it a try. So he was kind of positive too. And he did the whole computer thing with the paperwork, came back out. He had a surprised look on his face. He said, they'll take you. I said, what? Oh, man. See, had I not had a positive mindset, like I said, I would have given up. I would have admitted defeat. Once I saw that GPS tell me that I had another 100 miles to go and I was gonna arrive at 4, I said, nah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But look at what the positive mindset did. Positive. Look at what it did. I went and I made the attempt anyway. I made the attempt anyway. Now, something to consider, which I think is important, is that I had nothing else to do. My job is to drive over to this location. There was really no other option but to drive to my destination. No, actually, I said that wrong. There was another option. Not continue. That was my other option. However, there are other things that are going on in people's lives, and sometimes you have to manage your time, and you have to decide. You got to decide how you're going to use up your time. You definitely don't want to waste your time doing something or get caught up in something. It's going to waste your time and make it difficult for you to potentially achieve other things. This can happen easily if you have an itinerary for the day and you have it prioritized. Now you may not have your priorities in the order that you want them to because you have to be in certain places by a certain time. But with that list of priorities, you can determine uh, and not just the order of the priorities, but the importance of each one in comparison to the other. So if you arrive, let's say your first stop is only so-so. It's not. It's nowhere near as important as your third stop. You don't want your first stop to be something which is not as important as the third stop to use up so much of your time that it's going to make you miss out on your third stop, which is something that you have to consider. It's something you have to juggle. That's part of what doing business is all about. So positive affirmations, yes, positive affirmations. It wards off also. It wards off uh, things that can distract your mind, things that could derail you from your objective because now you're caught up in a comment that somebody made maybe, and it either hurt you or angered you. You decided that uh, you decided that you were going to address that mentally, and it's using up a lot of your energy. Somebody pissed you off, and now you're thinking about ways of kicking their ass or whatever the case is, and it's actually derailing. However, positive affirmations can help reduce the amount of attention you give to that nonsense and reduce the chances of you being derailed, giving yourself that confidence because yeah, you know, some of us some of us have grown up amongst people who, for whatever reason, could be jealousy, could be anything. They have to tell you how ugly you are, how stupid you are, how slow you are, how whatever. A completely negative approach, again, total, totally damaging and a complete waste of your energy. Try to ward that off. If you have a practice like what I see you doing, positive, you got a practice of looking at the bright side of things. Uh, Positive affirmations. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am intelligent. I am fast. I am the greatest version of myself. And then look at things from positive. Positivity includes gratitude. It includes gratitude. And when you're grateful, you acknowledge the things that help get you in a better position. It helps you do that. If you don't do that, if you don't express gratitude, you'll miss out on the reasons why you got to a position that's actually better than what you thought. better than what you thought. Without that gratitude, so you stop by the, you're on your way to an interview, very important interview. Could be a job interview, business meeting, whatever the case is. You pulled into a coffee spot. It's kind of packed, but you managed to get your order in, get served this coffee with the heat. Drinking your coffee, you don't like the way it's made. They didn't make it the way they usually make it for whatever reason. Could have been somebody new, could have been somebody distracted, whatever the case is. It's not to your liking. You're upset. You're upset. You don't usually stop at the coffee shop every day. Just so happen to do it that day. You get to your meeting. Hey, nice to meet you. My name is such and such. So where did you come from? I came from this location. Oh, how did you get here? Oh, did you hear about that fatal accident on the road? Oh, what fatal accident? Now you're mad. You were mad about the coffee. They're telling you about a fatality on the same road that you were driving on, and because you stopped at the coffee shop to get that coffee that you're so upset about, you missed getting stuck behind a fatality, or somehow you weren't the one that got hit. You get what I'm saying? I'm not, the timing isn't the way I'm explaining it. The timing, but you get what I'm saying. The timing isn't exactly as I'm trying to explain it, but you get what I'm saying. So, are you still going to keep worrying about your coffee that didn't taste so great? At that point in time, maybe you should be grateful. Maybe you should be grateful. It happened to me many times. Like I had stated before, it happened to me in an elevator. Not exactly like that, but this is one of those old style elevators in the Bronx where one door you have to pull it to open it, but the other one slides. The one on the inside slides. So me and this guy, who's the brother of a friend of mine, he's in the elevator. I told the story many times, but I don't think you heard this part, so I'll just tell you. So the door slides. The one on the inside slides. We already picked whatever floor we were going to, and the door was already the second door. The door from the outside was already closed, and the door from the inside was already sliding. Hey, Black Infant Fathers, man, thanks for coming in. Hey, you're welcome to come up. I think the link is visible from where you are. And so the second door is sliding, and here it is. The door stops sliding. It's not closing now. Now it's opening again. And the dude that's standing next to me, my homeboy's brother, he's getting blasted. He's getting pew pew right next to me. And I didn't get hit. For some reason, uh, the person who did it didn't even bother with me. Didn't bother with me. So uh, what do I do at that point? Do I get angry because, oh, okay, well, hopefully, okay, catch the next one. Okay, cool. And and so what do I do? Am I upset because I got derailed from where I was going? I was going to go see a girl. Needless to say, that meeting was no longer going to take place. Was I going to be mad about that? No. I mean, come on now. I don't know if I don't know if my homeboy's brother made it or not. He was leaking on the floor, and when I got to the first floor that it stopped on, I don't even remember if it was my floor or not. I just left, and um, I didn't get to go see that girl. Maybe I shouldn't have seen that girl. Maybe there was something up with that girl. I don't know. However, I could have been angry at the. I mean, that's kind of cold and callous, but that's not unusual for people who live in New York City. At the time that I lived in New York City, and the places that I lived in New York City, it wasn't unusual for people to be callous, cold and callous, and not look at the situation for what it was. A lot of people are nonchalant about stuff like that. They'll just walk away, whatever. But I didn't get to see the girl I really wanted to go see. So that. But I never bothered to think, well, was there a good reason why I didn't? Now, with a negative mindset, I'd be angry. Yeah, you're right. They happen for a reason, and that's why, if you got a positive mindset, you'll look at the bright side of things. I didn't get to go see the girl, but I didn't get shot up either. Okay, which I found to be unusual. So hey, whatever. I got to walk out. My friend's brother, on the other hand, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he made it. I don't know, but that positivity, positive affirmations, yeah, very important. And I almost mixed it in uh, with manifestation, which is, I acknowledge it is different. Now, the title of the video says stay away from that. I'm referring to MLMs, multi-level marketing. Stay away from multi-level. Let me explain something. I had to service, when I was a stockbroker, I had to service a multi-level marketing company. I had to take care of the the investments that they offered their customers. So I was the liaison. So here's the deal, right? You ever go to an establishment and see on the wall it says maximum occupancy X amount, okay? Maximum occupancy 300. Anything beyond that, if the cops rushed in with the fire department, the owner of that establishment is going to have a lot of problems. A lot of problems. They got it set for a certain amount for a certain reason. However, it's the same thing with MLMs, okay? Same thing. When uh, MLMs have a point of saturation. So once there's a certain amount of people within that organization, anything beyond that, people are not going to make money. They they encourage, okay. They encourage people to go for. Unfortunately, they pull people in with manifestation and positive affirmation. They use both to keep people in and working. And here's the crazy part. Remember, I told you there's a point of saturation. Anything beyond that, you're not going to make that. You're not going to become whatever title that they claim you're going to get, and you're going to make that money. No, no, no. And that legacy money and all that. No, you're not. You're not getting it. The only way you're going to get there is if somebody passes away, and you just so happen to be there when they pass away, and you're next in line. Next in line. provided that you're producing at the level where you can outperform others and then move up. So in multi-level marketing, everybody beyond the point of saturation, they're the product, not the actual product that's being sold. It could be whatever. It could be soap. It could be uh, toothpaste, whatever. But the thing is that when when they convince you that you can reach these levels, these heights, and this is a business, and you're a business person, and you're an independent contractor, and you got to think like a business person. Yes, they're motivating you to work without getting paid. And then on top of that, they want you to go to these seminars, these things that you got to pay for out of your pocket, but you're not making that kind of money. But they got you distracted. They got you distracted with the dream of being one of the members that are in that group of saturation. But remember, you're not getting in that group unless somebody passes away and a slot opens. If you happen to be there when it happens and you're outperforming the people around you. So multi-level marketing, what they're actually marketing is the ability to make a person work for nothing. You're going to be hustling, you're going to be bringing in business, and the ones that are going to make the money are the ones that are within that group that are within the saturation point. You guys still there? I know I said a mouthful there. Said a mouthful. Now, independent contractor, that's what you're designated as. Independent. So you're not really a business owner. You're an independent contractor, which is different. As an independent contractor, yes, you can you can incorporate yourself and rent out your services, but are you renting out your services for money, not in an MLM? In fact, I don't even know if they'll let you. Um, maybe some do, some don't. Allow you to establish your connection with these people as an LLC. That's the deal. I was hoping that. Okay, another announcement there. But that's the deal. Yeah, positive. Keep that positive affirmation going. It's important. It helps a lot. It's a great deal. You will achieve more with a positive mindset than you will with a negative. Definitely. I just want to get out here, put that out there about the MLM. Now that you're here, thank you for helping me focus on another thing as well. So I'm gonna take off now. Stay fresh, everybody. Keep it moist. Keep it profitable. Tomorrow is Whip It Out Wednesday. You already know the bling comes on, and I'll see you tomorrow at Whip It Out Wednesday. All right, y'all. Stay fresh. Oh.